How's it going, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Crypto Clout. I am your host, FaZe Crypto. We've got a very business as usual, considering the circumstances, day when it comes to Bitcoin action. Price currently sitting at 6,621 according to CoinMarketCap at the time of recording this video. And I would like to take this opportunity to talk about Holochain. I always am happy to talk about Holochain because I think that it's a fresh perspective to give to the audience and the viewing public, giving voice to a perspective outside of blockchain. I think that ultimately in the cryptocurrency space, we see a very saturated conversation happening, one that's very blockchain centric. And while, of course, I am a staunch Bitcoin advocate, I still find it necessary to give voice to the other options. And of course, while we're looking at many of the different challenges that, of course, are within the foreseeable future when it comes to Bitcoin control, the question of true decentralization, and of course, the question of where we will actually see the internet evolve from this point forward, I consider the Bitcoin question to be connected at the hip to what I would term as the internet question. And I think that it's more or less what the Bitcoin community should be discussing, is exactly how is the internet going to function in the future, which is of course why I find it important to talk about Holochain and of course the various different companies, philosophical projects, and the overall ideology of the internet, which I think is one that is ultimately ignored, and it goes beyond price action. It pretty much is going to boil down to the future of everything that we hold near and dear. The future of the internet is a conversation that I think is probably one of the most important conversations because it is connected to entirely everybody's life, as everything we're going to see in the future is going to entirely be consumed by the internet, and it basically overshadows any significance of cryptocurrency, because if the internet doesn't function properly, you could say goodbye to Bitcoin for the average person. And ultimately, I think that when we talk about peer-to-peer, we talk about no centralized servers, no ledgers, no middlemen, agent-centric, and a more human internet, it is a philosophical principle that I find important to talk about. And I think that it is important to talk about in particular while we look at a lot of the different situations and circumstances that we're seeing developing on a wider scale. So of course, blockchain and COVID developers test, of course, so as the novel, COVID continues to spread around the world, infecting celebrities and world leaders, it should not surprise us that 19 has entered the crypto space after two ill-advised conferences in early March, blah, blah, blah. I don't really like to give too much talk about that sort of thing, but many of you wanted me to bring up that. So there it is. And so, we've got just sort of more boring human interest pieces. U.S. crypto ATM network helps to promote social distancing, blah, blah, blah. But still, Charles Hopkinson is convinced that 2020 will be Cardano's best year, even though the circumstances. Anyway, I want to play this video right here, which is, the host explain how Fed creates money. If it doesn't want to make you buy Bitcoin and by extension cryptocurrency, nothing will. So we're going to play this. Oh, shit. Let's give it a whirl.
Public finances. Of course, Tyler, things could be worse if we didn't spend this money here.
Steve, I want to ask you a dumb question for which I am famous. Where does all this money come from? Does it come from a printing press? Does it come from borrowings that the Treasury will undertake? Where does the money come from?
Tyler, your question isn't dumb. It's just antiquated. We don't do printing press anymore. We click buttons, right?
Yeah.
So, you can just click a button and you can credit an account. You don't actually have to print the money anymore. That's the way we used to do it years ago. But now you really just create it. Now, it doesn't
just create it
out
of thin air. I mean, it doesn't really exist.
No, thin air is how they used to do it. Now they use electricity and they create zeros and ones and binary stuff. So it's out of electricity. It becomes money, but it doesn't become actual cash in the economy
Sounds like a Bitcoin conversation, if you ask me. And it is interesting to see him saying, "Oh, it's zeros and ones." I think that people are coming to the conclusion now of that cash and digital, blurring the lines very, very much, and I think that that's a dangerous road. I think that it basically all of the fundamental arguments that go against Bitcoin and cryptocurrency by extension have gone out the window, and especially the sort of seeing the emperor without its clothes sort of effect that we've seen happening with the global circumstances that are pervading. But still, I put this out here. I'm bullish on Holochain. I think looking outside, thinking outside of the blocks, and looking forward to seeing some big things happening. But of course, remember, this video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm not your dad. Hopefully, you guys do your own research, as this market is very volatile and high risk. But all that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.